Hey, do you want to see a really great new fabric collection? Okay, come on over. Let me see. So we just got in a nice new collection from Art Gallery Fabrics called Enchanted Voyage. And this is by one of our favorite designers, Maureen Cracknell. And I'm very excited to show it to you. So take a look. So this collection is only 16 prints, but it has some really cool features to it. Definitely very nautically themed, if you didn't catch that already, with the messages in a bottle, tiny little anchors, especially this blush color is really pretty. I think the color palette on this is really what grabs my attention though, because you've got a really nice on-trend color palette and it's very gender neutral. So if you wanted to, you could make a nice quilt, baby quilt especially, for a boy or a girl. So let's take a look at some of my favorite prints in the collection. I think the main print is probably going to be everybody's favorite. So this print right here is called Underwater Enchant, and it's got a lot of really great drawings of whales on it. So if you have anybody who's really interested in nautical themes or ocean or lives by the beach, like this would be a really great collection to buy something, to make something for them. I'm always thinking about the holidays around this time of year and things that I want to make for other people. Now, this one will go really nicely with that. This one is the seahorses, and it comes in two different colors. You can see both of them are really pretty blue. I really think this is a great blender. I think it gives you a good detail without being too loud, and I like the scale on this print. So you can cut this into smaller pieces and still get a really cool vignette. So it doesn't matter where you're cutting this up. If you're cutting it in the 3 or 4 inch squares, you're still going to get a seahorse in there. So you'll get the gist of what the print is, and I think this is a good scale. I like to look at things like that when I'm picking things for projects. This is going to go with a lot more patterns out there because you can use it in smaller pieces. You don't have to have a giant piece of it. And even the whales are still a pretty good scale. They're probably about 4 inches per whale. So if you have a 4-inch square, you could fussy cut these whales. And Maureen gave you enough room from whale to really get some good fussy cutting on that. So thanks, Maureen, you're the best. So let's talk about some really cool stripes that are in this collection as well. Stripes are something that people really like for binding, and I think this stripe in particular is going to be a cool binding because when you put this together, there's not going to be, you won't be able to see a seam between the two. So there's not like a real weird pattern on this, if that makes sense. And when you cut it up for a binding, you'll get a really nice stripe. It's not too thick and it's not too thin. So and it's got these little breaks in it, which gives it interest. And you've got multiple colors in there, so it's more interesting, just really pretty. And I like that there's a light colored one. So if you have a light colored background, this may be a good binding for your quilt, or a border with this would look really cool too. So I like the stripe a lot. Again, thanks, Maureen. And then there's a few prints that you only get one in the collection. This is one right here that you only get one of, and that's the message in a bottle. So this is a really cute print. I like the hand drawings on it. Again, the scale is really good. So you can make this into very small things. And then this ship one right here. This one could actually be used in a lot of different ways. I think this kind of reminds me of Peter Pan. I don't know why, but I kind of get the Peter Pan vibe with it. And that comes in a light blue as well as the darker blue. And I really like this darker blue. I like this little orange that is with the navy as well, and the slight lavender. I think those colors go really nicely together, and I think that color palette is one that we're going to be seeing more of. This like dustier color palette is going to be coming up in a lot of collections because it's becoming a more trendy color palette. Let's see, we got some really nice filler prints as well. We talked a little bit about these anchors, and the anchors are teeny weeny, guys. They are about a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch a piece. So that's going to be a really nice little detailed print. so I would be able to use this as a background pretty easily. And this one would look really good as a background because it's so light colored. And of course, it's a low volume print that you could put in your stash and just add with all of the other light colored fabrics that you have. So this would be one that I would stash anyway, just because background fabrics are so few and far between that I scoop them up as much as I possibly can. Like our low volume mega bundle that we have in stock is one that I try to keep in my stash at all times because I use those fabrics constantly in my quilting. And then, you know, when I see stuff like this, I just take some home because I know that I'm going to use it sometime. And I really like these starbursts and the fish. The fish are neat. I like how they're in little schooling patterns. And this, of course, if you know anybody who likes fishing, it's a very subtle print without screaming fish. And again, very small scale. So this will blend in very nicely with other things of this color. So I think a lot of these fabrics you'll be able to use with other things. These aren't wacky colors that you're not going to be able to find stuff to go with. And you'll probably be able to find things that are in your own stash because blue is a very popular color. And then we've got this really pretty orange, and this is kind of the biggest orange bit that you see in the whole collection. So I like this because it goes with a lot of the other prints in the collection. So I think this orange will look really cool with these ships right here, don't you think? And then there's one more print that I want to show you. This, sorry guys, this pile is out of control. As one more cool stripe. So this is going the wrong direction for you to easily cut this up for binding because you would have to buy a long piece and cut it this way. But if you were to use this as a border piece, I think that would look pretty nice right there. Or again, if you cut this up into squares. This will be a little bit more difficult to use cutting up because you've got the straight lines. So if you are cutting this into squares, you'll have to be careful because it may look a little bit crooked. So it looks like it's printed pretty nicely straight on the grain. So you should be able to do a nice job cutting this if you do get this print and want to use it for a square or border or things like that. But anyway, I think you should pick up the entire collection. So you can click the link in profile and go buy this new collection from our friend Maureen. Thanks guys, we'll see you again soon.